You keep hearing, you need to be better, more confident, more productive, more positive, more healed. The list never ends. Every flaw becomes a problem to solve. Every feeling becomes something to fix. Even your quiet moments feel like failures. The world teaches you to treat yourself like a project, to see yourself as broken, and to believe your worth depends on progress. But progress toward what? Toward a version of you who never struggles, who never hurts, who never doubts or hesitates. That version isn't real, yet you keep chasing it. You measure your days by what you improved. You measure your worth by what you achieved. Even rest becomes something to optimize. Even joy becomes something to earn. There's no pause button in this mindset, no space to simply be. You feel like falling behind if you stop. It's like you're wasting time if you breathe. So you push harder, read more advice, follow more steps, try more techniques, hoping one of them will make you feel whole, hoping one of them will make you enough. But the bar keeps moving, and the silence inside you grows heavier, because improvement never fills the emptiness. It only hides it for a while. You start fearing stillness, because stillness means facing the parts you haven't fixed, so you keep going. Keep polishing your edges. Keep presenting the version of you who has it together, even when you feel like breaking. Especially then. You smile when you want to cry. You nod when you want to say I'm tired. You say I'm fine so no one looks too closely, because looking closely might reveal your cracks. You've been taught cracks are shameful, that they mean failure. They mean you haven't worked hard enough, so you hide them. You try to fix them in private, alone in your thoughts, alone in your self-criticism, alone in your endless effort to be better. You treat yourself like a problem to solve. But you are not a problem. You're a person who feels. A person who hurts sometimes, who gets scared, who needs rest, who needs gentleness. Not more pressure, not more rules. It's not another list of habits to master. You don't need to be rebuilt. You need to be understood. You need someone to sit with your pain, to hear your story without trying to fix it, to hear your fears without turning them into tasks, to hear your sadness without giving you homework. But this world doesn't teach that. It teaches quick fixes. It teaches endless striving. It celebrates polished masks and hides messy truths. So you learn to hide too. To only show the parts that look like progress. To keep the rest tucked away. Hidden in late-night thoughts. Hidden behind quiet smiles. Hidden behind I'm fine. But those hidden parts are still you. They are not flaws. They are feelings asking for space. They are stories asking to be heard. Not edited. Not improved, heard. This pressure to improve has made you forget that. Forget that being human is not something to fix. Forget that your value doesn't come from progress. Forget that softness is not weakness. Forget that you are already whole, maybe bruised, maybe tired, but still whole. Still worthy of love without changing. Still worthy of being heard as you are. This mindset didn't appear from nowhere. It grew from quiet messages you absorbed. Some were spoken, some were only implied. As a child, you wanted to be accepted. You learned which parts of you were praised. The smiles came when you achieved. The warmth came when you behaved. Mistakes brought frowns. Tears brought discomfort. Anger brought silence. You learned to hide those parts. To replace them with what made others proud, with what kept the peace, you became careful. Careful not to upset. Careful not to be too much. Careful not to be too real. Over time, being good became survival. Approval felt like safety. Disapproval felt like danger. So you built masks, smiling masks, achieving masks, calm masks, and you wore them until they felt like skin. People praised the masks. They called you strong. They called you mature. They called you resilient. But they didn't see the effort behind it. They didn't see the quiet fear, the fear of not being enough, fear of being rejected if you stopped trying, so you didn't stop. You pushed through exhaustion. You hid your struggles. You smiled while you broke inside, because breaking felt like failure. Failure felt like losing love. This fear shaped how you saw yourself. It taught you to see flaws as danger, emotions as weakness, needs as burdens. So you buried them. You've buried your grief under achievement. You buried your anger under politeness. You buried your fear under strength. And you called the burial self-improvement. This is how the mindset took root. Slowly, quietly, without you noticing. Until effort became identity. Until striving became self-worth. You stopped asking, how do I feel? You started asking, how do I improve? Feelings became data points. Pain became problems. Its sadness became inefficiency. Your inner world became a checklist. It's always something to fix. Always something to optimize. You stopped listening to yourself. You only measured yourself. This mindset seeped into everything, to your work, into your friendships, into your rest. Even your hobbies became goals. Even your healing became a competition. Who recovers faster? Who grows more? Who becomes whole first? But no one is keeping score. The scoreboard exists only in your mind. A scoreboard built from old fears, from old wounds, from old rules about being lovable, rules you never agreed to yet still follow. Rules like, you must earn love. You must always improve. You must never falter. These rules keep you performing. They keep you quiet when you hurt. They keep you smiling when you need comfort. They keep you seeking approval instead of care. They keep you from resting, from pausing, from being. And over time, they made you forget yourself, forget your own voice, forget how to feel without judgment, forget how to exist without proving. That is how this mindset became your identity. Not because it's who you are, but because you've repeated it long enough to believe it, long enough to mistake survival for self, long enough to forget you were already enough before you tried to improve. Loosening this mindset starts small. It's not with grand change, not with perfection, but with noticing. Notice how often you judge yourself. Notice the quick inner critic, the voice that says, fix this, do better, try harder. Simply hear it. You don't need to obey it, you only need to see it, because awareness creates space. Space to choose a different response. The next step is pausing. Pause when the voice pushes. Pause before you rush to improve. Ask gently, what am I feeling? Not how do I fix this? Just what is here right now? Maybe sadness, maybe fear, maybe emptiness, maybe nothing you can name. All of it is valid. All of it deserves your attention. Let it stay without changing it. This is hard at first. You will want to fix it immediately. You will want to turn it into progress. But feelings are not problems. They are signals. They are messengers. They are parts of you asking to be heard. When you listen, they soften. When you push them away, they shout. Listening builds trust inside you. Trust that you are safe with yourself. Trust that you won't abandon your own heart. This trust grows slowly, like a seed. It needs gentle care and patience. Each time you feel without fixing, it grows. Even for 30 seconds, even for one breath. This is not failure. This is healing, because healing is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming whole. And wholeness includes everything. Even the messy parts. Even the tired parts. Even the parts that feel broken. Especially them. They are the ones who need love. It's not repair. Love. Try speaking to yourself gently, like you would to a frightened child. Say you're allowed to feel this. Say, you don't need to be fixed. Say, I'm here with you. These words matter. They teach your nervous system safety. They teach your inner world kindness. At first, it may feel awkward or fake. That's normal. You've practiced self-criticism for years. Gentleness is new. It will take time to feel natural, but every kind word plants a seed. Every moment of softness rewrites something. It tells your mind you are not broken. You are human. And humans feel. Humans struggle. Humans need comfort. You're not defective for needing that. You are alive. Begin noticing what soothes you. A walk outside, a warm drink, a song that understands you, a quiet room. Choose these things when you feel low, not to fix yourself, but to care for yourself. This difference matters. Care says, you deserve comfort now. Fixing says, you must change first. Care gives peace. Fixing gives pressure. You are learning the language of care, a language you were never taught. But when your heart already speaks, listen to it. It will guide you home to yourself. When you start listening to yourself, something shifts. The noise inside softens. Space opens. And in that space, others can enter. You start to speak from your real self, not your polished mask, not your performance, but your living, breathing truth. This truth doesn't shout, it speaks quietly. It waits until you feel safe enough, until you stop trying to be impressive, start trying to be honest. At first, it might feel risky, saying how you feel, letting someone see the soft parts, the tender parts you used to hide. You might worry they'll leave or judge or try to fix you. Some will, but some won't. Some will sit beside your words. They will hold them gently. They won't demand solutions. They will offer presence. That is what your heart is needed, not repair. Presence. Eyes that meet yours without flinching. Hands that don't reach to rearrange you. Just warmth. Just staying. It will feel unfamiliar, like sunlight after a long winter. You may not trust it at first. That's okay. You're learning safety. Slowly, carefully. You don't have to open all at once. Try opening in small pieces. One sentence, one sigh, one honest word. Watch how the right people respond. They won't rush you. They won't try to fix you. They'll nod. They'll listen. They'll say, I hear you. And something inside you will breathe, because being heard is healing. It reminds you that your feelings make sense, that your experience is real, that you are not invisible. Your pain was never asking to be solved. It was asking to be seen. Once it is seen, it loosens. The pressure eases. The sharpness softens. You stop needing to hold it so tightly. You stop needing to prove your worth because someone saw it and stayed. This changes everything. It plants trust in your nervous system. Trust that connection is possible. Trust that vulnerability won't destroy you. Trust that being known is safe. You begin looking for these moments and creating them. You stop chasing admiration. You start seeking understanding. You stop offering masks. You start offering truth. People respond to truth. It calls to something human in them, something tired of pretending to. This is how real closeness begins. Not with perfection, with honesty, not with fixing, with presence. Start sharing your inner world gently, not the whole thing at once, only what feels safe. The goal is not confession. The goal is connection. Connection grows slowly. It needs trust, and trust needs time. Be patient with the process. Some people will fade away. They were never meant to hold your truth. Others will move closer. They are your people. They will help you hear yourself more clearly, and you will help them too, because when one heart is heard, others feel braver. This is how healing begins to ripple outward. When someone truly hears you, something changes inside. The silence doesn't feel so heavy. The world feels less sharp. You start breathing easier. The armor you wore begins to loosen. And through the cracks, connection slips in. Not loud or dramatic, gentle, steady. You realize you are not a burden. You are a person, a human heart wanting closeness. This longing is not weakness. It's how humans survive. We are wired for each other. Your pain starts feeling less like a defect and more like a signal. Quiet call for care. Others answer that call, slowly, tenderly. They sit with you. They remember your words. They notice when your voice falters. They ask how you are and mean it. You feel something thaw. A part of you thought was gone. It was only waiting for safety, waiting to be seen. Now it begins to stretch again, to reach back, to meet their care with your own. You start asking how they are, and meaning it, listening as they speak, not to fix them, but to know them. This is how mutual care begins. Two hearts holding space for each other, neither trying to fix, both trying to understand. It feels simple, but it's rare and precious. You begin building little rituals of care, checking in, leaving kind notes, sharing silence without discomfort. You stop needing to hide the messy parts, because they don't flinch when they see them. You stop needing to hide your joy, because they don't envy it. They celebrate with you. You celebrate with them. This is what belonging feels like. Not fitting in. Being known, being accepted as you are, with no fixing required, no conditions, no performance. Only presence. Their presence says, you matter. You don't need to change to deserve care. This rewires something deep. The part that believed love was earned. The part that believed you had to be perfect. It softens. It exhales. Lets you rest. You rest without guilt, because you are not trying to prove worth anymore. You are already worthy. You see that worth reflected in their eyes, and they see it reflected in yours. This reflection strengthens both of you. Stop thinking of healing as a solo mission. You start seeing it as something shared, something woven through relationships. Every act of care adds another thread. Slowly, you weave a net of connection. It catches you on hard days, catches them too. You stop falling alone. You fall together. You rise together. Not by fixing each other, by holding each other. This holding builds trust. Trust builds closeness. Closeness builds safety. And safety heals what fixing never could. It heals the belief that you were broken. You were never broken. You were unheard. Now you are heard. And slowly you are home. Now you sit in the quiet. Not trying to improve. Not trying to perform. You are simply here. Present with yourself. You feel your breath move. Slow, soft, steady. This stillness once felt unbearable. Now it feels like home. Because you are not waiting to be someone else. You are being who you are. And who you are is enough. Enough without goals. Enough without progress. Enough without proof. This is new. It feels fragile, but it holds. You test it gently. You rest a little longer. You speak more slowly. You stop explaining yourself. You stop apologizing for existing. You stop rushing to change. Life stops feeling like a race. It starts feeling like a rhythm. Your rhythm. Quiet and honest. You move at its pace. Not faster. Not slower. Just true. And in this truth, you feel whole. Not perfectly whole. Human whole. Whole with flaws. Whole with questions. Whole with wonder. This wholeness needs no fixing. It needs listening. Needs tenderness. You give it both. You speak kindly to yourself. You stop scolding your tiredness. You stop judging your needs. You hold them gently. You treat them as valid, because they are. This care builds trust inside. Trust between all your parts. The part that struggles. The part that hopes. The part that fears. They learn to sit together, not fighting for control, not pushing each other away. Sitting in the same quiet, listening to each other. You see how none of them need fixing either. They need space. They need time. They need compassion. You offer it. Slowly, they soften. They start trusting you back. This is healing, not repairing brokenness. Reuniting what felt scattered. Bringing it all back into your arms. No pieces left out. No feelings exiled. No self-abandoned. You see your life differently now, not as a self-improvement project, as a relationship. It's with yourself, with others, with the world. Relationships thrive on care, not fixing. You begin living that way, caring gently for what exists. Instead of trying to upgrade it, let's make space for joy, small joy, quiet joy. Joy that needs no achievement. Joy that simply appears. In a warm cup of tea, in soft morning light, in laughter with someone safe, in silence with someone who understands. You notice these moments more now, because you are present for them, not lost in fixing yourself. You are here, and here is enough. You are enough. This is quiet philosophy, where thinking isn't loud, and life doesn't need to be either. Subscribe if you haven't already, not for noise, but for something you can actually feel.